Time is 6:15. Here is the news edited by Dulmin Samrasingha, read by Victor Raj. Here are the headlines of the local news. The President instructs officials to implement an integrated program, state and private sectors to ensure food security. Steps will be taken soon to prepare a national fertilizer policy. The central bank reassures to ensure foreign exchange through the banking system to import essential food items. The Bribery Commission files a fresh indictment against former Minister Johnston Fernando. The killer of Atulugama child confesses to the crime. Foreign news, Russia steps up offensive in eastern Ukraine. Sports news, Champions League final. France sells fake tickets, triggered Paris final chaos. Local news in detail. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa has instructed officials to implement an integrated program with state and private sectors to ensure food security. Discussions with several countries to meet the food requirement have been successful. Therefore, the President has requested all farmers not to give up cultivation in the Yala season due to fertilizer shortage or any other reason. The President expressed these views during a discussion today at the Fourth President's House on cultivations in Yala season and on minimizing food shortage that could occur. The President pointed out that a national fertilizer policy should be prepared soon to bring down fertilizer distribution management and for coordination between farmers and officials. The Agriculture Ministry should intervene to allow cultivations using chemical or organic fertilizer according to the wishes of the farmers. The farmers should be given the opportunity to earn an income by encouraging them to cultivate other crops in the paddy fields that have not been used in Yara season. The President instructed to release Kandakadu farm under the Livestock Development Board for crops including maize and soya beans. It was decided to identify government lands which have not been cultivated and hand them over to young cultivators. Minister Mahinda Amaravira, who was present on the occasion, said that encouragement should be given to cultivate home gardens and lands of the government officers. He said that participation of the parliamentarian and all public servants should be obtained for the purpose. It was decided to launch a joint cultivation promotion week in the provinces by identifying the crops that should be cultivated and to issue funds without limitations for the provincial councils for agriculture, livestock and freshwater fish industry. The President instructed to manufacture phosphorus fertilizer for Maha season using the Pavala phosphate deposit. Discussions took place on providing animal feed to control price of milk, eggs and poultry products. The central bank has reassured its commitment to ensuring the availability of foreign exchange within the banking system for the importation of essential goods, including the food items in the ensuing period. The central bank is making arrangements to ensure that the restrictions imposed on payment terms would not cause shortage of essential foods and goods, including food items, and they would not result in any hindrances to manufacture of export goods. The bank said it is in a continuous dialogue with the banking community in order to ensure the facilitation of essential goods imports. It has commenced negotiations with the trade association and other parties who are engaged in importing essential goods. The Essential Food Commodities Imports and Traders Association assured the central bank during recent discussions that they would not resort to engage in grey market activity and extend the fullest cooperation. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the Customs and the Ministry of Trade, along with other agencies, are taking measures to clear the imported goods that are being held at the customs. The central bank said the measures are already underway to facilitate the exports when importing raw material required for their exports and to utilize the export proceeds to make payments under open account payment or consignment account terms. Further, local suppliers who supply for these exporters and receive payment in foreign currency are also allowed to make payments under open account payment or consignment account terms. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing with local news, the Bribery Commission today filed a fresh indictment against the accused, including former Minister Johnston Fernando, instead of the indictment withdrawn previously. The Bribery Commission filed this corruption case against former Minister Johnston Fernando, former CWE Chairman Iraj Fernando, and former Minister's Private Secretary Raj Mohideen Mohammad Shakir, who allegedly causing 8.4 million rupees of loss to the government by employing the employees of the cooperative CWE for election work during the period 2012. A 29-year-old man was taken into custody over the death of a 9-year-old girl from Atulugama, has reportedly confessed to committing the murder. Police said several statements were recorded into the death of the girl, and the CID was conducting further investigations. The post-mortem conducted today at Panaduru Hospital revealed the girl had not been raped. The victim went missing on Friday and the body was recovered on Saturday in a marshland near the house in Atulugama. That ends main news story.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Power and Energy Minister Kanchana Vijayasakar stated police detected 1,200 persons who obtained fuel from multiple fuel stations by using the newly developed app to identify vehicles which engage in above practice. He said the app helped the police to identify those fueling from multiple stations. The mobile app was developed after police received complaints that some stock fuel after buying them from multiple stations in order to sell them at a higher price later. That ends main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
This is Watchlight.
The Elections Commission has announced that revisions to the voter registration list will be accepted from June 15th to July 12th. Names that need to be added and those that need to remove could be made during this period. The voter registration list revision process for this year has already begun and the Election Commission has made arrangements to certify it by October 31st. That ends Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
World News headlines first. Russia steps up offensive in eastern Ukraine. Japan says South Korea's maritime survey in exclusive economic zone without consent is unacceptable. Top Gun Maverick gives Tom Cruise first $100 million opening weekend. World News in detail. Russian troops are intensifying their offensive in Severodonetsk. The city is seen as Ukraine's last stronghold in the eastern region of Luhansk. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky says his country is trying to obtain more modern weapons. He says peace will return to Ukraine in the end. The Russian military said yesterday that it had used missiles to destroy Ukrainian ammunition depots and weapons in the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk. Japan's top government spokesperson says the maritime survey South Korea conducted in Japan's exclusive economic zone near the Takeshima Island is unacceptable, as no prior consent was given. South Korea controls the islands in the Sea of Japan. Japan claims them. Chief Cabinet Secretary Matsuno Hirokazu told reporters today that the government had lodged a strong protest with South Korea. The new Top Gun movie has given Hollywood superstar Tom Cruise his first $100 million opening weekend at the box office. Top Gun Maverick seems him reprise his role as U.S. Navy pilot Petty Maverick Mitchell from the original 1986 film. Paramount Pictures said yesterday its first 3 days in North American theaters, the sequel earned an estimated $124 million in ticket sales. Worldwide, that figure is raised to an estimated $248 million. To wrap up the world news, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Russia's steps of offensive in eastern Ukraine. Japan says South Korea's maritime survey in exclusive economic zone without consent is unacceptable. Top Gun Maverick gives Tom Cruise first $100 million opening weekend. That ends world news. Moving on to development news. SDB Bank recently entered into a joint initiative together with the Asian Development Bank to provide a line of credit to selected small and medium-sized enterprises in Sri Lanka. The project also includes technical assistance for developing innovative financial schemes for SMEs and promoting export-oriented cluster development and developing an ecosystem for women entrepreneurship in Sri Lanka. That ends development news. Sports news is brought to you by
Sampath Bank. We present your future.
France's sports minister has said fans without tickets caused initial crowd problems at the Champions League final in Paris, despite strong criticism of the event's policing on Saturday. Emilio Olea Castrel blamed a mass gathering of supporters with fake tickets for the chaos at the stadium. She also said local youths trying to force their way in made things worse. But UK's Culture Secretary described the policy response as deeply concerning and has urged an inquiry. French police have been criticized for firing pepper spray and tear gas at some Liverpool fans as they waited to get into the stadium on Saturday evening. The final was delayed by 35 minutes by the trouble outside the stadium, with Liverpool losing the match against Spain's Real Madrid 1-0. That ends sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business news sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Colombo Dockyard launched Ms. Javita, a 5,000 deadweight tonnage eco bulk carrying being built for Mesji Eco Bulk US Norway. This is the first vessel of the series in and these 89.95 meter long vessels that are designed to hold a cargo capacity of 5,000 deadweight tonnage. Each vessel is powered by 4-stroke diesel engines with an electric hybrid system supplying additional power through a battery storage system. That ends business news.
Business news sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10-second prize winners. iPhones for the 10-third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Nandanal Veerasinghe said Sri Lanka should urgently move away from an import-dependent economy to an export-oriented setup. He was addressing a meeting with the young entrepreneurs on the present status of the economy in the Colombo recently. He said over the years Sri Lanka has been relying on imports and paid less emphasis on exports, which was resulted in a huge debt mainly to service this import requirement. The governor, Veerasinghe, identified the mismatch of imports and exports as one main reason for economy to contract. That ends economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The weather report.
Met Department says prevailing showery condition over the southwestern part of the island is expected to slightly enhance during next few days. Showers or thundershowers will look at times in western, Sabragama, central and northwestern provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts. Hail showers above 100 mm may occur at some places in these areas. Several spells of showers may occur in the Anuradhapura district. Showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in Uva province and in Ampara and Battikal districts during the evening or night. That ends weather report. To bring to an end this evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka, let's take a look at the headlines once again. The President instructs officials to implement an integrated program with state and private sectors to ensure food security. Steps will be taken soon to prepare a national fertilizer policy. The Central Bank reassures to ensure foreign exchange through the banking system to import essential food items. The Bribery Commission files a fresh indictment against former Minister Johnston Fernando. The killer of Atulugama child confesses to the crime. Foreign news, Russia steps up offensive in eastern Ukraine. Sports news, Champions League final. France has fixed tickets triggered Paris final chaos. That ends the evening news broadcast on Radio Sri Lanka.